Hey guys, how's it going? It's Target here. Welcome back to another episode of the Tampa Bay Lightning Be a GM. So when I left off, we were getting ready for the trade deadline. I mean, we're only 4 games away from the trade deadline, so it's going to be in this video. Obviously, we're not going to have enough time to... I can't cover enough content in this video to make one more last. But I asked you guys what we should do in terms of the Mark Scheifele trade. Now... I got a lot of input, and a lot of people wanted to see Scheifele on the team because they wanted to see Crosby traded for Scheifele. Now, one of the things that people didn't consider was the fact that Scheifele could be acquired without getting rid of Crosby, and I think that that piqued a lot of interest. Now, here's one thing I also considered afterwards. Now, remember when we were talking about it, I posed, what was it, Scheifele and Evander Kane. And the reason why I put Scheifele and Kane out there was because you couldn't actually get... Scheifele without Kane, or without another player with the highest cap hit, because of the cap space that would come with this problem. Like if you traded Scheifele for Filppula, right, you'd have to give up. I mean, the cap space is not huge an issue there, but you're just trading Scheifele for Filppula. Now, something I would like to do, I mean, look at his shot, it's crazy. Something I would like to do is add more players to this bill. Now, obviously, they don't want to get rid of anybody, and they don't want really anybody from my team. So, what I'm thinking is possibly a couple players that we move here, all right? So, first things first, I think Evander Kane we're going to throw on there, all right? That way, if we're replacing Filppula, and I would throw in... because I also mentioned Carl Hagelin before, right? So we got the playmaker. So 2 playmakers. We currently have 2 playmakers and 3 playmakers on that second line. This trade straight across would actually give us 2 playmakers and a sniper. It would make it Scheifele, Yakupov, and Evander Kane. All right. In exchange for Valtteri Filppula and Carl Hagelin. Now, what was... I just want to take a look, see what Scheifele's face-off rating is. 70. Okay, I can live with 70. I think in a simulation they'll do okay. I mean, Filppula's got 80, right? Oh, yeah, 80 face-offs. So he's not bad, but his shot just definitely is not as good. The offensive power of Mark Scheifele is unbelievable. Carl Hagelin as well is a good player, a good playmaker. He's really fast. We picked him up as a free agent, but we could actually deal for Evander Kane in that. That's definitely an upgrade. So... let me just take a look. I want to see how many years they got left. They each have 2 years left on this contract, so we wouldn't have to deal with Kane re-upping or Scheifele re-upping for a couple years yet. In terms of Filppula and Hagelin, Filppula is good for many years, I believe. Filppula is good for, 2 years. And what does he make? $5 million as a second line forward. So they're both the same boat, and then Hagelin we signed for 4 point something. Yeah, 4.8, and he also has 2 years remaining. So it's very even in that sense. Now, one of the other players everybody wanted me to get was Brad Hutchinson. Brad Hutchinson, or sorry, I keep calling him Brad, but I know it's Byron. Byron Hutchinson. He's a 4.5 yellow star defensive defenseman, something that we do not have in the system. Obviously, he's not great offensively. He doesn't have the best puck skills. He doesn't have the best shooting categories necessarily, but his defensive awareness is huge, and he's only going to get better from here. He's going to be an absolutely amazing defensive defenseman. Shut down, man. Something that we don't really have in the system right now. How would we make this trade go through? We would have to throw on one of our top 4 defensemen. So we have 3 two-way defensemen and 1 offensive defenseman. So Zach Bogosian, Dougie Hamilton, and Victor Hedman are all the two-way defensemen, and then Justin Schultz is that offensive defenseman. We could throw Zach Bogosian in there. Reason being is Zach Bogosian, I feel like, is about to cap out. He's going to be about an 88, 89 overall, all right? Versus Hedman, which could be about the same. He could be about 88, 89 overall. And Dougie Hamilton still has like a few years left where he could get to an 88, 89, 90 overall, depending on how things go. So, I would think about throwing Zach Bogosian. Oh, my dog wants out. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So, yeah. Where was I? Zach Bogosian for Brad Hutchinson. Now, this would definitely make the trade go through because of Zach Bogosian's tremendous trade value. If you think about it, Filppula and Hagelin come close to Scheifele and Kane. I would have to throw in like a first-round pick to get them. And then Brad Hutchinson is somebody that we could pick up with Bogosian easily. Like, that would throw everything over the top. We could probably even ask for something more in return. I don't know what they have that they could offer in terms of prospects. Now, some people want a Nick Patan, but I don't see Nick Patan being an asset for us. I don't see it happening. I mean, he's got 76 face-offs. But if we've got Scheifele in the mix as well as Crosby, I don't see any reason. Bailey What's his deal? A two-way forward with not the best face-offs either. Not going to bother with him. Jacob Trouba, he's a 4-star player. He's 78 overall, two-way defenseman. We could pick up a Jacob Trouba in this trade and probably walk away with some upside there. So I think that we have some options. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I would probably throw Jacob Trouba on there. Josh Morrissey's an offensive defenseman, isn't he? Yeah. We could also pick up Josh Morrissey, but he's a little bit further behind in his development. So if we throw Jacob Trouba on there, all right, the trade would be accepted by the NHL because of the trade cap, the salary cap. I think this would go through. Now let's take a look at this very carefully and assess whether or not this is an upgrade of any kind. Our Valtteri Filppula, all right, he's an older guy. We're talking 32 years old, so he brings some veteran presence, 80 poise, all right. He's got decent defensive awareness, decent offensive awareness, and all his categories are pretty much mid to high 80s for the most part, and then skating is in the 90s, so he's very athletic. If we take a look at Mark Scheifele, his counterpart, okay, the guy that basically he'd be replacing, he's 86 overall already. He's 9 years younger than Valtteri Filppula. His physical category is very low, but his offensive categories are absolutely huge. Offensive awareness, 91. Passing, 96. Puck control, 94. Hand-eye, 91. And then your shooting categories through the roof. Athleticism is a little bit to be desired. Like I said, so is the physical. The defensive awareness, pretty close. I mean, what did Filppula have? Was he 85? I think he was 85 defensive awareness. So it's very close in terms of that. So I think in terms of this trade, this is an upgrade. Filppula and Scheifele are Filppula for Scheifele. That's an upgrade. Carl Hagelin for Evander Kane. I'm pretty sure that's a no-brainer. Evander Kane assesses a need that we have on that second line, and that's goal scoring. We're just not getting it as much as we should. We're relying heavily on Carl Hagelin. Now, something else to consider here when we're trading for this: Evander Kane has likely been playing with Mark Scheifele all year long, and he's got about the same categories, I would say, as Carl Hagelin in terms of his shooting. 88, 87. Offensive awareness is 87. What else? What is Carl Hagelin's offensive awareness? 87 as well. They're very similar. The one thing that Evander Kane brings that Hagelin doesn't is a little bit of body checking. 85, 85. I think Hagelin's is low 80s, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, 74, 76. So Evander Kane brings a much more physical element as well as finishing ability. If you're labeled as a sniper, it seems like you automatically have that ability to snipe. Now, the only portion that would be a downgrade is Zach Bogosian, okay? Zach Bogosian's considered a top 2 defenseman. Dougie Hamilton's probably a top 4, yeah, and probably Victor Hedman as well, because they're 87 overall, all right? So that would be a downgrade for us. We have nobody that'd be playing that top 2 pairing defenseman. Well, we'd have Dougie Hamilton and Victor Hedman, but this would be a downgrade. Zach Bogosian for Brad Hutchinson and Jacob Trouba is basically what that is. Byron Hutchinson is a future top elite defensive defenseman, maybe eventually being one of the best in the NHL. All right. When he came into the year, he was 82 overall. When he started the year, or sorry, when he was drafted, he was 82 overall, and now he's 84 overall at the beginning of the year. Expect him to jump up to like an 86, 88 overall by the time this year is done. I mean, what's his year like? 8 points. He's a shutdown defenseman, plus 14. What are his hits like? Does it show hits? It doesn't show hits anymore. I don't know why. That's a very strange thing that doesn't show. I mean, we could go into the other stats and figure that out, but he hasn't have a goal yet. What is Bogosian doing these days? Zach Bogosian. I mean, we picked him up to be an elite top forward or top defenseman. I mean, he's got 32 points, 9 goals, 23 assists. We're trading for defense, and the thing is, that's the only portion of this trade that I'm really leery about is the Zach Bogosian for Brad Hutchinson. If I could get Hutchinson without giving up Bogosian, what would that look like? Okay, so let's take Bogosian off. Let's put on. Let's see. I guess we'd have to put on D'Angelo. That's the only player they actually want from us is D'Angelo. For Brad Hutchinson, very similar trade value. Again, we're still having to make up the differences in that column anyway. We'd have to give up more as well. You know, we'd have to give up much more. What else do we have available to us that we could give up that they want? Karan. But again, now we're in the categories of that where we're having problems. And then draft, I don't want to give up that first round pick. I want to keep that. I want to build towards our future as well as building towards our present. So I think I'm going to take a gamble. I mean, I like D'Angelo. Like, if you look at D'Angelo's stats here, He's got 97 wrist shot power, like amazing. 89 slap shot power. Passing's 89. This kid's going to be an elite player. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be an awesome second pairing defenseman. And I feel like this would be a good trade for us. Let's take D'Angelo off. Hold on. If we throw Zach Bogosian on there. Okay, I feel like that's a good trade for us. I think we need to pick up Trouba in this trade. I feel like that'll balance things out a little bit more in our favor. Trade value, very similar. And this is a blockbuster deal, I would say. I would label this as a blockbuster deal. This addresses a few different areas for both teams. They get an elite defenseman. They get a good second-line center. They lose some elite young players like in Scheifele and Kane. And then obviously Hutchinson, who will be, there eventually. So if we can employ this top 4 defenseman and then in the future have the ability to, be much, much better, I think that's a good thing for us. I think that's a really good thing for us. I don't feel like we're losing out in this deal long term. I think we're winning. I mean, we're having a good year this year. That's the only thing that makes me a little bit leery about making this trade. Now, if I make this trade offer and it does not go through, I'm not going to push the issue. That's how close I am on the fence about making this trade. Let me just reassess the trade value. Okay, so Filppula does not come up very high. Him and Scheifele. Scheifele's a little bit higher than Filppula, okay? Hagelin is a little bit less than Filppula, and Kane and Scheifele are about the same overall, or the same trade value. Hutchinson is a little lower. He's still a little bit higher than Carl Hagelin, and then Jacob Trouba is just a little bit lower than Hutchinson, and Zach Bogosian is super high. So that covers probably Trouba and Hutchinson, and it might cover the difference between Kane and Scheifele. If it doesn't, then we might be screwed, and we might have to drop Trouba. Okay, so this is the deal. Either it's Bogosian for these 4, like these 3 for these 4. If it doesn't go through, I'll remove Trouba from the list. I will go to picks. I will ask for a first, and I will ask for maybe another first, I suppose. Maybe. If that doesn't go through, then I'll ask for maybe a second from this year, just to add some more depth, okay? So that's the game plan. We're going to ask for Trouba. And we'll see what happens here. All right, guys? So this is the offer. If it doesn't go through, we'll tweak it slightly. If that doesn't go through, then we're going to give up on it because we don't really have we have poor relationship with Winnipeg, so this may not go through. All right, here's the offer. Valtteri Filppula, Carl Hagelin, and Zach Bogosian for Mark Scheifele, Evander Kane, Byron Hutchinson, and Jacob Trouba. Will it go? No, it will not. You've met our block needs well enough, but the value you have on the table is far from off. Okay, so it is Trouba. When I reassessed the trade value there, I thought I might be giving up, taking too much. This, I believe, will go through. Again, this is just a 3-for-3 swap with some picks that'll give us some more depth for the future, some more trade value. Will this go through? Filppula, Hagelin, Bogosian for Scheifele, Kane, and Hutchinson, a first and a second. It will not go through. All right, the last thing I'm going to try is this. Just the first, and you know what? No, the second and third are very close. This is it. This is pretty much the end of the trade I'm going to offer. This is extending, I think, in my on my terms. They're considered rivals. I don't even feel like I should do this because I think that this is going to throw us over the edge with Winnipeg. We're giving up a lot to make this deal. I'm doing this because you guys really wanted Brad Hutchinson and Mark Scheifele. But we're getting that first that could end up being actually pretty good. I'm going to try it. We'll see if it goes through. If it doesn't, then we're going to abandon this. We'll go through, and it won't. I feel, oh, wow, that's unbelievable. That's how much they hate us. They won't make the deal. I'm sorry, guys. I thought that would be the deal to go. We're going to have to reassess in the offseason in terms of making that trade. It may be possible. Now, one thing I do want to take a look here first, we didn't really address, was our depth. Do I need to adjust my depth? Maybe an upgrade on Nystrom and Tyrell. Let's see if we can go out and find that kind of a tandem, and we could trade, a pick for that. So let's go to GM options, trade negotiations, trade players. Let's see who we can hook up with. Where is it here? Where are we? Tyrell and Nystrom. Okay, where's Nystrom? Did I pass him? No, there he is. Eric Nystrom. Now, Anaheim wants him, but do they have anybody they want to get rid of? Probably not. Boscheman, nope. Boston. Allen, nope. Buffalo. Martin Erat. Calgary, nope. Carolina has quite a few players, including Elias Lindholm. What's it? Elias Lindholm's 4 yellow star playmaking center. No, okay. Chicago. You know what? I'm going to just take it off of what they're looking to get rid of. Let's take a look and see if I can find that center 4th liner. Hold on. I'm going to do a search here. Hold on. Let's do a trading block. Let's search for that 4th line player. Edit trade block. We're looking for a forward. We're looking for a 4th line forward. Okay, let's see what we come up with the highest overall. All right, there's not much. Staging. I'd want a grinder and a 2-way forward. You know what? I'm not going to go after it. I don't feel like that'll make as big of a difference as we think. We're doing really well this year. I mean, Kucherov's got 30 goals. Crosby has 49 assists. Let's go without. I wish that blockbuster trade had gone through. I'm really disappointed to see that it didn't. So we're just going to sim up to the trade deadline. Steve Downey, our 2nd round pick, Shirley Raycroft. Hold on, let's see here. This might be, well, Steve Downey's got 2.35 cap hit. That's a huge cap hit. We can afford it. He is an improvement for our 4th line. He's not an improvement for our 3rd line. He's got great body checking. I would play him on the 4th line. That's the thing. How much? I want to see how much he has left on his contract here. Downey, where are you? You're down all the way here. There we are. Steve Downey. How many years left? 1 year left at 2.5. He's still going to want that next year. He is a loaner player. No, that's okay. I'm just going to say no to that right now, even though I'm really not giving up too much in that trade. All right. New Jersey Anno, 2-0 loss to New Jersey. That's going to be the way it is, isn't it? I don't make the trade, and then I get screwed over in the regular season. But New Jersey was the good team. New Jersey's the good team, so I'm really not too mad. Brad Stewart, no, I'm not accepting that. I don't want to get rid of my 1st round pick. I really like my 1st round pick. New York Islanders. 7-4 win. That's what I'm talking about. Crosby gets his 50th assist. We got Pittsburgh now, home of Steven Stamkos. And a 6-1 win on that one. Kucherov with the hat trick. Let's go trade block. Let's do what they suggest for us. What I'm looking for, though, is I'm looking for forward. Any forward. I'm going to go with 4 yellow stars. Medium. Okay, so that's the forwards. We're going to also look for defense that are 4 yellow stars, medium up to 5 green stars. And then we're going to also look for... let's look for a forward. A 2nd line forward. And we'll ask for, I guess, the same. No, you know what? I'm going to do goalie. Let's let them know that I want prospects, because that's kind of what I want. Okay? And then I also want 1st picks, 2nd picks, not 3rds. Or I want future 1sts. Okay? And then surplus. I don't want to get rid of my 1st. I don't want to get rid of my future 1st. I will get rid of any of those. All right. And then I'm looking to get rid of... That's good enough there, I suppose. Perfect. Okay, good enough. Let's commit to that trade block. Let's see what we get in the trade deadline. You never know. Somebody may appeal to me and get a nice little deal going, and a 5-2 loss there. All right, let's go to trade negotiations. Let's see how things go here. Nothing here in the first day. I'm not going to force the issue. If somebody comes to me with a trade for picks, I will make it, but I don't see that happening at any point here. Nobody wants to get rid of their picks. Nope. Nope. Nothing. Maybe I'll pop over to Winnipeg here. Let's just pop over to Winnipeg before we continue. Let's see if they still hate us. Yeah, rivals. We need to... You know what? I'm going to see if I can't build a little bit of a rapport with them. Let's trade away somebody that we're not using. Karana, like... Kosmachuk, what's your deal? Kosmachuk. A 2-way forward, right wing, 70 overall. Scott Kosmachuk. He is a prospect of ours. He's got really good face-offs. 2-way forward. I don't see him actually being on the team at any point. So let's throw Kosmachuk on there. They do want to get rid of draft picks. So let's... Oh, this won't go through because of that. Let's ask for somebody back that has 0 value. Brassard. Okay, let's do a little goodwill trade. And I will give you a 3rd as well. Okay, so this is just basically upgrading my pick. Hold on. Yeah, okay, we'll give you the 3rd. Will that go through? This is just to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit with them. Maybe we'll be able to make a trade later on. Will this go through? And that will go through. This is a no-brainer. Okay. Best lines in the AHL. Obviously, we got rid of a player that we didn't want to. Let's see what our relationship is like with them now. Still rivals. Is there anybody else we can send their way that makes them happy? Because if you give them... Killorn was another guy that we were going to... we could trade away. We could ask for... What's his value like? Very low. It would have to be, you know, our third... Let's ask for our third back. And they don't want to get rid of any players. So let's take Killorn off. Yeah, no, I don't... Well, maybe they'll be able to take a goalie. Hold on. Hellenius and Whitney, goalies. Holowenko, they would be able to take a goalie. Now let's take a third off, and instead of a third... now Holowenko, he's our backup, is he not? Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to leave it. That's good enough. Maybe their attitude will improve in the offseason here. I did what I could. I tried to make the trade. Let's try and build a rapport with them for the future. I'm going to cut it off there, guys. So for now, when we come back, we're going to finish the season up, and we'll get into the playoffs. Hopefully, we'll be making it. I don't see why we wouldn't. Until next time, I'm Target Audience. You guys have a good one.